Hi there, and welcome back to Stubbs Aquatics. If this is your first time on the channel, you're in for a real treat today. We're doing a virtual video pond tour of several ponds in Lindsay, ranging from huge koi ponds to really cute garden ponds, and everything else in between. See, not everyone can get out to do these tours, and I want to bring these tours to you. So make sure you stay tuned. You're really going to love these ponds. They're really impressive. Stay tuned, everyone. Hi, we're at Neil and Sarah's. They have just the most amazing property you've ever seen. Now, they're a little camera shy today, so it's just me, unfortunately, in front of the camera. I know these folks personally. We've been family friends for a long, long time. This is the dad's pond from years and years ago. Now, they've revamped it since, and well, it's got to be seen to be believed. Let's have a look around. This is their great view from their main floor balcony. How would you like to wake up to that every single day? Looking down at beautiful ponds and gardens. Not to mention, they're right on the water. Yep. How much better can this get? Wow. And this is right in the heart of Lindsay. There's a little bit of boat traffic, but it's not heavy. And the people that come by, well, as you can see, they're pretty friendly people. And like I said, this is right in town. Their ponds consist of 3 ponds that flow from one to another, each dropping a certain level, including one pond that, it drops 5 feet to the waterfall. They have koi that they keep in here during the summer. They take out during the winter. They keep those inside their garage. They have a holding area for them, being the pond is only about 3 feet deep. There's actually no fish currently in the lower pond. I must ask them why. Because sometimes they used to keep, I think, goldfish in the lower pond. Look at the landscaping here. It's beautiful. All kinds of hardy plants. Well, it just makes this look, oh, awesome. Listen to those waterfalls. And this is not enhanced at all. That's over a 5-foot drop. And, well, it just sounds cool. I see a frog has made himself at home here. There's just so many beautiful spots of this garden and walkways that you could spend hours here and never get the same view. As previously mentioned, they have some beautiful koi that call this pond their summer home. They have a mixture of standard fin and long fin or butterfly koi. Doesn't all that sound of running water just put you at ease? I could have stayed here for hours.
Hi, I'm Jim. Years ago, when Sarah's kids were really young, she hired me as a gardener to help her out with her extensive gardens. And at that time, the waterfall here wasn't running. They'd had problems with it for quite a long time. And we got to talking. I've done a few ponds, a few renos. And we decided that we would renovate the upper part of the pond behind me and get this waterfall fixed up and running properly. So I think it worked out quite well. It was quite an extensive project, tricky spots. Obviously, we couldn't move any of these rocks, so we had to work with a lot of what was in place. But we got this pond up here deeper and got the waterfall going, and that's the story behind the reno.
This is probably one of the best views to show all the falls in this water feature. It's just, well, simply amazing. And I just did have to capture a bit of their pool area. It's beautiful. Hi there, I'm with Brenda and John. They were kind enough to invite us over to their property to check out their lovely landscaping and their beautiful koi pond. You mind telling me about your pond?
Sure. We've had it for about 8 years now. We had a landscaping company come in and do it for us, but we've accented the gardens ourselves over the years. We keep adding and moving things around, and we're lucky to have all kinds of big koi.
Yeah, well, it's certainly beautiful, and I know the feeling about changing things around every year because I do that, and I think I drive my wife crazy doing that. I'm sure John does that, but he's hiding off camera and won't admit it.
It's true.
Well, we're just going to take a tour of your property, if that's
Great.
okay, and
Yes.
check out things. Is that okay by you?
Wonderful.
Perfect. Probably one of the first things you notice is their manicured property. The grass looks like, well, looks like it should be on a golf course. And then you just see the pond. It's stunning. I found out that Brenda does most of the planting, and for the most part, they're perennials, but she still plants some annuals in and around the waterfalls. Look at all this bog bean and water lettuce. It's simply amazing. I love how they split the two waterfalls. I've done that, but it doesn't have the same effect. This probably is one of my favorite ponds. You have some really big koi in here, and they're being a little bit shy right now. This pond is about 5 feet deep. The koi do overwinter in this pond. The one thing you notice right away here, other than the stunning beauty, is all the sound of nature. All the sound that you currently hear is natural. There's no add-on bird noises. They're all really right there. And behind them is an open field where they see deer, coyote, turkeys, you name it, they have it. The pond itself has plenty of resident frogs and one snake that Brenda's not too keen on, but being it's a garter snake, it's only going to help around the pond. Fish themselves are a little camera shy right now, but that's okay. They're used to the air bubbler being on, and when it was turned off, well, they weren't impressed. Another view of their back garden and the field in behind them. What a perfect view, sitting on their deck, looking out into their backyard. I could see why they built it. It's definitely a stress reliever, and it's a staycation. You're always on vacation at this spot. I truly love their waterfalls. It just sounds perfect. Hi there, we're at Mary and Jerry's house. I want to thank them for inviting us over. What a beautiful backyard they have, and just an amazing small chibumpkin and common goldfish pond. Well, thanks for having us here, Mary.
You're welcome.
How long have you had the pond?
Well, we moved in here in 2002, and the people that lived here had a pond that was basically a little basin,
Yeah.
a little basin. And we had lived in England before that, and we'd had a pond there, so we decided to improve it. So we started out with just a top pond here. So basically, we've had it for 20 years, but it's kind of progressed, right? It started with this little pond here, and this area here was our filtering system, and we used to use that white, what is that, filtering kind of
Filter floss?
no, kind of lettuce kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we used to do that, and then we got Jim to come in, and he added it made it bigger and put the 2 waterfalls in.
Well,
So
that's great.
yeah, so we've loved ponds for a long time. So
They're forever evolving, that's for sure.
they are, and we love the fish. Yeah.
Well, great. One thing you quickly notice is the sound of running water here. It's one pond flowing to another pond. Great water movement. And there's goldfish in both upper and lower ponds. These goldfish stay there year round. Jerry does cover it in the winter just to help things out. You'll notice they have a imitation alligator, as they're prone to, well, heron attacks. And they swear by it and say it definitely helps keep the herons out. They've done a great job planting inside the pond and, well, around it with all kinds of natural mosses and with pine. They have a really nice garden set up, and Jerry just built some raised beds for vegetable gardening. These folks live just a few blocks away from me, and I didn't know that till now. And I want to thank Jim for introducing us. Mary and Jerry make you feel right at home from the minute you get there. You see these goldfish are, well, they're not too shy at all. We're at Phil and Jules' place. Unfortunately, they can't be here right now. See, they own Phil's Pets. It's a great spot to get anything you need from your waterscaping, ponds, fish, or pet supplies. It's their busy season, so unfortunately they can't be here, but it doesn't mean we can't be. So let's have a look around at this great pond that they've built themselves. One of the first things you notice at Jules and Phil's place is this beautiful flagstone. Well, it's incredible. Look at the coloring in that. Backing around the one side. Ties beautifully into a raised flower bed. They've obviously done a lot of work on this. And, well, it's paid off. It's simply beautiful. Nice arrangements of perennials. But probably my favorite by far is the water cascading down off these flagstones. They've done an amazing job. They've really got a real natural look to everything in here. And the koi and the goldfish are obviously enjoying this. We really need to come back at night because there's all kinds of lighting on this and a misting system or a fogging system. That's gotta look cool at night. It was really hard to spot the skimmer box in their pond, especially because the Kingston lilac flagstone and the lid for this skimmer box matches perfectly. I think we were there a good 10 minutes before we noticed it. See how well that matches up? Pretty impressive. A really interesting collection of koi here, from longfin to standard, and some really cool fancy goldfish being Joaquin. I really do love the job they've done on the cascading here. It looks so natural and amazing. My eyes keep getting drawn back to the raised flower bed. This is obviously Jules' handiwork. She looks after all the plants at their shop. And, well, they've got a great selection of water plants, both for your pond and your aquarium. I had to laugh when I saw this plant. I recognized it as we bought one just like it on our road trip. I think they've done a great job making full use out of their small space in their backyard. Just to get that dug would be, as we can attest, digging our own pond as well. But with such a narrow backyard, they've done an exceptional job given the limited space. I can't thank them enough for letting us come by when they weren't available to show us around. Now, I was left pretty strict instructions, that is, close the gate and no fishing once we were there. The system is pretty modern. Still can control the pump via Bluetooth and turned it up and down while we were there. Also noticed they did some amazing flagstone work to his steps. These are huge rocks too. I also have to commend them on some beautiful landscape work on the side of their property. They've tied in very well. I'm thinking this is more Jules again. We stopped by briefly just to thank Phil for allowing us to check out his pond. In doing so, we had to check out his pond area where he keeps his plants and some of his pond stock, being the koi he has. He has both butterfly and traditional, and they're Japanese koi. They're priced pretty reasonably. It's also got lots of driftwood for centerpieces, and of course more of that beautiful flagstone. Inside the shop, he's got lots of products for your pond, all your pond needs. Hi there. I'm now at my buddy Jim's place. It's been a real work in progress here. I met Jim about over a year ago, and he asked me for some ideas about adding a new pond, or, well, making his older pond bigger. And we got to chatting, and before I knew it, well, he made this huge add-on pond, and we've been friends ever since. And of course, you've probably seen him in my rebuilds, as he's, well, he's Jim the Digger. And he's a great guy, great friend, and he's the salt of the earth, and I can't wait to show you around his pond. This is Jim's old pond, where he used to keep all his koi, but now he's got several shabumpkins in there. Half of those came from my breeding program. It's a great little pond. I just can't believe all those koi used to live in this pond. And they survived throughout the winter. They lived there for numerous years.
Hey, it's Jim again. This time we're at my place. New pond, dug last year. Old pond is over behind Chris. Dug that one probably 14 or 15 years ago. Had koi in it. Koi were in there for 13, 14 years. And I decided they needed a bigger home and a deeper home. Then, as Chris had mentioned, I contacted him. We got together, he came over, gave me some pointers, renovation or new pond, and I decided to go with a new pond. And here it is. It's been a hell of a year since we put them in, especially this past spring. I'm not sure what was wrong with them. Chris came over, I talked to him, probably annoyed the crap out of him with all my text messages. It just seemed every day there was a new issue or the same issue, or they were improving. What it came down to was Chris came over one day in a torrential downpour, and we drained about 50% of the water. Got each and every one of them out of here into a salt bath for about 15 minutes or so. Ever since then, that was about 3 weeks ago, my pond has been really clear. My fish are healthy. They're actively eating again. They're not sluggish. So I wouldn't have done all of this without Chris.
You know, for someone who is so camera shy and didn't want to be in front of a camera, he certainly has changed since the first time I met him.
And there they go. Before, it would probably take them about at least 10 minutes to get up to the food. And then they'd eat a couple of pellets and just off they'd go. I'd end up with so much food in my skimmer. But like I said, since we did the salt baths, water change, everything's been normal. So some of the advice that Chris had given me when I was building this pond was incorporating a bog garden into it. So this one I built last summer when I built the pond. It feeds off the same flow that's coming down my spillway. Very slow. Most of the plants in here are pieces that I got from Chris. They're doing very well. It's a slow flow through there, gives the plants more of an opportunity to suck up nitrogen or nitrites. and do their job. This year, one of the issues I thought I was having was not enough filtration. So I added a second bog garden with a DIY filter on the end. It's biological and mechanical filtration in that box. Obviously more plants, a stronger flow coming through this one, just to give it a little more character. That's also really helped with water quality this year. So I've got skimmer with filter media in it, spillway, the tote over there, plus the 2 bog gardens. So I figure I've got about 6 points of filtration, if you will. One thing I learned this year, you can read the manufacturer's recommendations or sizing for spillways, skimmers, pumps, all that kind of equipment. Double it. There's no way that this skimmer I bought last year is sufficient for this surface area. And same with the skimmer. It's just not big enough to hold enough media to filter this volume of water. So think about it. When you're looking at building a pond, really consider spending the extra money and going bigger on your filtration. You'll be glad you did. I really hope you enjoy the work that I've done. It's been a pleasure, a lot of pain, but I love sharing it.
I love Jim's dollar store scrub brush to take the string algae off your waterfalls. Oh, what a great idea. And for $1 taped to a stick, you can't ask for much better than that. I can't blame Jim for being, a little bit of emotional. It's been a real roller coaster ride for him ever since we put the pond in. His fish just weren't, they didn't seem happy, or they weren't actively eating, and we tried various medications and did several water changes, but they said after the salt bath and keeping a small percent of salt in the water has really seemed to have done the trick. His fish have never looked so good. Jim is a professional gardener by trade, which is evident with all his plants, and simply with, once you see some more of his gardens, you'll know what I mean. But his ponds themselves, they're beautiful. The Shabumpkin pond, which was the original pond, doing really well. It's got a few of my Shabumpkins in it, and they seem to be breeding for them, which I'm really happy for. The koi themselves are, they're loving life in here, and with all the extra filtration, and especially with the bog filters. I love how he's repurposed an old deck as a dock here. This is some of his gardening work. Pretty impressive. Jim's pond, that being the koi pond, is about 5 feet deep, and he's able to overwinter his koi just fine here. He names all his fish, and they're family to him. I certainly understand that, although I don't name my fish. There might be a few daylilies there. I want to thank David for inviting us over to check out his lovely garden and his great little pond. That's also worked on by Jim. Jim the Digger.
Well, me again. And we're here at another one of my pond renos. This one I did for my friend David. He had a much smaller pond here for years and years and years. One spring, we come out and it's empty. A rock or something from the soil over the years worked its way up and punctured the liner right at the bottom. So no choice but to replace the liner and figured we'd do a reno as well. So we made it bigger and deeper out of the waterfall, which one of David's former neighbors split for us. All his granite, he split it for us so we could build that wall for the waterfall. And that's pretty much it for this reno.
Many of you have already seen my ponds. And well, for those who haven't, I'm going to get someone else, that being Jim, to narrate my pond or the view of my pond, just to get a different perspective, and also get him to shoot it from a couple different angles that I normally wouldn't think of it. It's always nice to get someone else to describe your pond, because what you see and what they see are usually two different things. I really hope you enjoy seeing my pond or ponds. In this video, I will not be showing my breeding ponds or my Shebompkin grow ponds, just because they're not connected to the main ponds. And, well, they're kind of a different aspect to the backyard and to Stubbs Aquatics, obviously. So sit back, enjoy, and like I said, I hope you really enjoy it. Take care, and thanks for doing this, Jim.
So Chris asked me to talk a bit about his pond and the filtration. He has added this bog garden up here, which is right next to a Laguna filter, which he has modified somewhat to fit in additional filter material. Next to that, he's got the Easy Pod, which is nicely hidden behind this beautiful spruce tree here. So you can't see it from the other side, which is the best viewing part of the pond. Then he's got his skimmer box down here, once again modified it with additional filter material. A couple of pumps in there which feed both the Easy Pod and the Laguna box that we first looked at. Then over on this side, he's got another filter box, which water pumps out of the main pond into. And he's done the same with this filter box. Added additional material. That feeds into a stream, which his grandson's decorated with some sticks recently. I think they did a pretty good job. That flows into this pond up here with some chubbies in it. And just behind that, there is a second bog garden. It's just another shot of one of Chris's bog gardens. This is the one water flows through here very slowly, which gives the plants and the roots from the plants plenty of time to suck up nitrites. Great biological filtration for a pond. It's natural, and it really adds to the overall appearance of the pond. Just adds another element.
There are two separate ponds where I currently have koi in them. Both these ponds now are 6 feet deep. The smaller one that you see here was dug out the year before last, and the koi overwinter there quite well. These are just foci koi, and I hope to get great growth out of them this year. Unfortunately, my water greened up just before filming with all the rain, but that's part of life. These are my male shabumpkins. They're in a 3-foot round pond. I will not be overwintering these guys here. They will come inside. Really hoping to get some good growth on these this year. This is my main pond. I will be less worried about them overwintering now that we've dug one section to 6 feet deep. These koi are constantly hungry, and they devour 2 feedings a day. I can already see the growth in them this year. I'm quite happy with it. We've been building this pond now for, well, over 30 years. A little bit gets changed each and every year, and
We either make it a little bit bigger, a little bit deeper. This year, obviously, was a new liner. And I'm hoping that the building aspect is done. Other than, some changing some plants here and there and maybe updating the odd pump or filter. But I'm hoping for the most part, it's pretty much done. Of course, we love our bunkie. What a great spot for, well, a little nap in the afternoon. Never hurt anyone. Nice fresh air. And, well, the grandkids love it. It's like a big playhouse for them. Plus, it's a great spot to hide in the fall and just enjoy the views. We'll never afford a cottage, but we kind of built one in our backyard. And this is our getaway.
We're just going to go over to my mom's now. You've probably seen a couple of the videos where I have some of my shabumpkins there. I've kept various different types of shabumpkins there and bred them. But, often I've overlooked showing her gardens.
My mom lives on her own, and thankfully she lives pretty close to us. My brother, who lives in Winchester, comes up and plants her garden every single year. He does, he does an amazing job. You may have seen some of the gardening I've shown you before that he has at his house, which is spectacular to say the least. Over the years, I've put in several different types of ponds at my mom's, and this one is an older pond that I've expanded on. I currently keep my best shabumpkins in there. They get fed by my mom at least once a day, and generally overfed, but I don't think they seem to mind. The pond is relatively shallow. A little bit more than 1.5 feet deep, so definitely can't overwinter the fish. But our pond plants do well, being iris, arrowheads, pickleweed, and of course lilies. I've currently got my best shabumpkins from last year in there, and with any luck, I'll have some really nice colors for later on this season. Right now they're being a little skittish, but that happens. But they're definitely coloring up, and I hope to show them later on in the fall when I compare them how they did last year. Well, had to stop and look at the butterflies, because that's what ponds bring out. Birds, butterflies, and the best of us. It's really good to see how people are interacting with their ponds, which is enhancing their lives.
Well, I wanted to thank everyone for watching. I hope you really enjoyed it. Special thanks to all those great people that allowed us to go to their homes to check out their ponds. Weren't they some great ponds? Wow. Like some of the falls and, well, the landscaping. Just wow. So thanks so much, guys. And, if you want to be included in next year's version of the Ponds of Lindsay, please let me know, because I'd be more than happy to go get some shots at your place. Remember, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up, think about subscribing, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Thanks again, everyone. We'll see you on the next video real soon. Bye for now. Whoa.